Good morning, everyone. So, in one of my recent videos, I kind of asked you for some gaming recommendations because I finished, or not, I did not finish. I was at the end of Final Fantasy VI and I was kind of looking for a new game to play. And I also mentioned that I tried playing Aladdin on Super Nintendo, and I was saying something along the lines that I felt it was a very difficult game, especially from a casuals gamer perspective. For you who are new to this channel, who don't know where I'm coming from, so I utilize these gaming devices, especially when it comes down to quick gameplay sessions, either with those bigger storylines with Final Fantasy or Chrono Trigger, but also with, in air quotes, shorter games like Super Mario World. Not Super Mario World from Super Nintendo, but rather for GBA, Super Mario 2, Wario Land. So those quick bursts of games that I can play for 10 minutes straight, but that are fun enough, or the storytelling is capturing enough that I can actually utilize those 10 minutes for resetting my brain. So whenever I'm at work or whenever I have an issue, a problem, a chore, or whatever I need to kind of tackle, I like to utilize these gaming devices to kind of reset my brain and get back into a fresh perspective. And with that in mind, I would kind of consider myself a casual gamer. I would also argue I am somewhat of a gamer that, in air quotes, likes to cheat. When it comes on Final Fantasy VI, for example, I was using a walkthrough quite heavily. Or when it's a difficult game that is a jump and run, or like Super Mario, I utilize the saving button quite often. So I see, oh, there's a gap that I need to jump over, or this part might be difficult, instead of just kind of trying it and failing and then kind of losing a life and starting from the beginning of that level. I utilize that quick save tool to kind of make sure, okay, if I'm not able to kind of pass that gap, I can just quickly reload seconds before that specific part of the game. And yes, of course, that's considered cheating in a way. But again, I'm a casual gamer. I'm, for the lack of a better description, I'm a grown man with a lot of responsibilities. I sometimes just don't have the time and the energy to completely kind of envelop myself into a game and try again. So that is why I'm sometimes, or not sometimes, most of the time I'm cheating. But again, for me, gaming is more or less a way to kind of reset my brain and specifically to enjoy the game without getting frustrated that I potentially not able to pass that specific part in the game. So yeah, without any hesitations, I would say I'm a casual gamer. With that specific goal in mind, again, resetting my brain, gaming for a couple of minutes, and just having to acknowledge I just cannot game for an hour straight or whatever it might be. And especially when I have a big project, this is also something that I always mention, why I kind of am a huge advocate of these retro games. With my Xbox, for example, I love Witcher 3. I always mention that game. Or Hogwarts Legacy. With those games, I are so big, and sometimes I have a big project. I cannot sit down in front of my Xbox and kind of play that game. And even if I'm able to play it, then sometimes I have 1, 2, 3 weeks of pauses in between play sessions, and I forget whatever I have to do. With these types of devices, this is the Anbernic RG35XX Plus. I can just put that in my pocket, and with a quick save method, I can just play real fast and pick up where I left off. And that's why I love these games. Getting back to the topic of Aladdin, I said that game was really difficult and I wasn't able to kind of enjoy it. And to be fair, I did not give the game much of a chance. And I had this epiphany moment. I thought to myself, okay, let's try it out. Maybe I just don't understand it. And that is the point. I didn't understand the game. And this is probably something that you hardcore gamers probably totally understand. I didn't get it. You have to learn the game. You have to it sounds obvious. That sounds like Captain Hindsight here, Captain Obvious. Of course, you need to understand the game. But more specifically, it is, how do I put this in words? Again, Captain Obvious, obviously you need to understand the game. But I came with the specific mindset, okay, this is a side scroller, this is a jump and run. I get this. So this is kind of like Super Mario. And I was struggling right at the first boss. And to be fair to myself, I would argue it is a difficult boss for considering it's the first one, the first level. And if you don't understand the mechanics of the game, and I'm not saying like something like along the lines of, okay, you need to jump like Super Mario on top of the head. It's not that, but it's more that and again, you hardcore gamers totally probably already got that, but I had this epiphany moment as a casual gamer. Okay, you need to understand the rhythm. You need to understand not only, okay, this is jump, but you also, okay, this is what the boss is doing. Okay, kind of like a dance, right? And I got that at that moment where I was like, just by pure accident, I was like, okay, he's doing this thing with the sword and he throws it and then he does this sword like so. And what I didn't understand was, okay, I need to hit him at the specific rhythm and point it at the arch of him throwing thrusting his sword over his head. So he was always doing like this motion and then was like this and throwing his sword. And I was like, okay, how in the hell am I supposed to jump on his head? Because he was like holding his sword like this and basically guarding his head. And always when he does this motion to the front, I was always being hit by the sword. So in the beginning, when I first played it, I just didn't get it. And I was like, okay, this is too hard. I'm not going to play it. So I didn't give it a fair chance. But for pure coincidence, I hit him and I was like, okay, so I need to jump in between the movement. And that's when I tried it. And I suddenly realized, okay, that's the mechanic of the game. And suddenly I learned how to play this game. And again, this sounds so obvious. Of course you need to learn the game. If you're doing a racing game, of course you need to learn the lines and stuff like that. But I was so kind of in my thought process that this is, okay, left to right side scroller, jump, hit someone on the head, and then that enemy is kind of defeated. But in this game, not every enemy that you jump on the head is defeated. They are kind of paused in a way. I don't know, knocked unconscious or disorientated, but they aren't defeated. So that's also something to kind of keep in mind, which I really had to learn. And again, maybe it was this naivety that I was coming from Super Mario with, just thinking, okay, left to right, jump down, jump on the head. And I didn't get it. And again, this was such an epiphany moment for me to kind of understand, again, from a casual gamer's perspective, okay, there's a rhythm here. There is something to learn. Okay, I get the mechanic. It's really hard. Probably all of you pro gamers, hardcore gamers already understand this, but there's just something that I just realized. And I'm over 40. I get games, but for some reason I didn't get Aladdin on Super Nintendo. Now I got it. And maybe it's this thinking of complexity. So coming from AAA games, you kind of understand, so, okay, this button does this and this and this. But maybe because Aladdin or these retro games sometimes are so simplistic that you kind of just think, okay, this is simple. This is just jumping and jump on the head, that you or that I put Aladdin just purely in the category, okay, this is just like Super Mario. Oh, okay, this doesn't work like Super Mario, so it's harder, so I don't get it. Maybe that's the subconscious thought process that I had, that I was just boxing this game into this one mechanic, and therefore I didn't get it, and therefore I didn't understand the rhythm and the mechanics that were needed to kind of play the game. And again, it sounds so obvious, but it just wasn't for me. And now I finished Aladdin, and now honestly I'm a little proud of myself, because in the beginning, and I talked to my brother about it, and he said something similar. He said like, oh, that's a hard game. And now that I finished this, obviously with this cheating method of always saving, I do feel proud of myself finishing the game. And I get when gamers have this moment of beating a hard game. You know, those people who say something along the lines of, okay, you need to play it hard, or you need to play Dark Souls with only one life, and you have this sense of achievement. And I kind of get it now, because I'm always the person that plays for story and not necessarily for skill. And now having kind of defeated this game that I considered being very hard, and not only defeating it, but also, oh, I got it. I understand it. There was some, I would argue that was some form of achievement for myself. But yeah, it's again an epiphany moment, and I guess many of you already got that. But if you are new to retro gaming in particular, because these games are, for the lack of a better description and to very oversimplify it, no pun intended, even though you maybe consider these games very simplistic, that actually makes it to some degree a little bit harder, because the game mechanics are different, and you kind of have to relearn that, coming from AAA games and stuff like that, that we have nowadays. You kind of have to relearn that, and that is something that just clicked in my head, and I really enjoy this new moment for myself. And honestly, I want to replay Aladdin again because it's so fun. So yeah, what are your thoughts about this convoluted thought process that I just had? And did you play Aladdin? Did you find it difficult as well? Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, maybe check out my other videos about gaming, maybe about Chrono Trigger. It's still one of my favorite games. Check it out. Yeah, up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here, and don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. That way we see each other in the next video. Thank you very much.